It's May 1945 and Adolf Hitler is losing the war. His armies are in full retreat and the end is near. But before he dies, he will receive one last great shock. When American troops armed with inflatable tanks attack him with fake artillery fire and fool him into thinking that Allied troops are advancing from behind enemy lines. You see, the Ghost Army wasn't just some ragtag bunch of soldiers. In one case, they infiltrated a German radio tower and broadcast false orders to a German column, causing them to march in circles for days. In another, they released thousands of leaflets over a German city, convincing its residents that the Allies had secret plans to bomb their own POW camps in retaliation for any atrocities committed against Allied soldiers. In fact, many of them were artists and actors who used their talents to fool the enemy. After the war, many of the Ghost Army veterans returned home and tried to put their experiences behind them. But as the years went on, they began to realize that what they had done was something truly special. They had won battles without firing a single shot, and in yet another, they set up inflatable tanks and artillery pieces on the hills overlooking the city of Ocon, making it look like the entire American army was massing for an assault. The goal was to convince the Germans that they were about to be attacked from the north, when in reality, Allied troops weren't even close. Mission accomplished. Hitler ordered his troops to fire on the phony tanks, giving away the position of the real ones. No, this was a highly trained group of men led by special officers, whose job it was to gather intelligence on the enemy and then use every trick in the book to mess with their heads. By the time they hit the beaches of Normandy in 1944, they had mastered the art of deception. Not only did they have inflatable tanks, but also fake artillery, trucks, jeeps, even entire divisions. In fact, at one point they created a fake headquarters for General George Patton complete with inflatable tanks and jeeps surrounding it. The idea was that if the Germans knew Patton was there, they wouldn't attack. Simple as that. It's an audacious plan that could only have been conceived by the most unlikely of heroes, the Ghost Army. It all started in 1943, after Allied troops had successfully landed in North Africa and were pushing east towards the heart of Hitler's empire. As Allied troops closed in on Berlin, the Ghost Army set up a series of inflatable tanks and dummy pillboxes along a canal just outside the city, making it look like there was a massive American force preparing to storm the capital. The ruse worked like a charm. German troops opened fire on the fake installations, revealing the real ones to the American. Once again, Hitler had been fooled. The Americans in particular had a problem. See, they were really good at fighting conventional battles. Officially called the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, they were given the name Ghost Army by the Germans after one of their first major operations in Tunisia. In April of 1943, the Americans had just fought their way out of a small town when suddenly the retreating Germans turned and attacked them from the rear. Confused and exhausted, the attackers soon found themselves in a heated battle. Then, just as quickly as the fight began, the Germans broke off their attack and retreated once more, leaving behind several trucks filled with what looked like American supplies. As the Americans advanced, they soon realized that they had just fallen for one of the oldest tricks in the book, a ruse designed to make the enemy think that they were being pursued by reinforcements. The ruse worked so well that the Americans almost fell for it. That's when they noticed something strange, a slight bulge in the supply trucks, which upon closer inspection turned out to be inflatable tanks. Hence the name Ghost Army. They could get in, get out, maneuver around enemy positions, and deliver devastating blows. But there was a bigger fish to fry, Berlin itself, and to do that, they needed to get inside Hitler's head. Enter the Ghost Army, a top-secret unit within the US Army that used inflatable tanks, fake radio transmissions, sound effects, and other illusions to deceive the enemy. But while creating inflatable tanks was a lucky accident, it would become the group's trademark tactic. In all, the Ghost Army carried out over 200 missions behind enemy lines, each one more daring than the last. But perhaps the most famous mission of the Ghost Army was Operation Titanic. But it wasn't all just smoke and mirrors. The Ghost Army was made up of real soldiers who put their lives on the line every time they went behind enemy lines. So the question is, could a war be won with illusions alone?
Thank you for exploring the past with me. If you enjoyed this journey through time, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next chapter in history. It's been an incredible adventure bringing these stories to life for you. I can't wait to see where we travel next. So please, take a moment to show your support. It truly means the world to us. And hey, while you're at it, why not ring the bell? It's the little things that make a big difference. Until then, keep seeking the stories behind time. Thank you for watching.